Hello students, today we will be talking about the remaining portion of introduction to accounting. In the previous video we discussed what exactly the accounting is, the meaning, the definition, the objective of accounting. But let us move forward, few more terminologies, few more concepts, branches of accounting. Apart from that, we are going to discuss few more things which are important from introductory point of. So here, initially we will talk about the branches of accounting, how the accounting is maintained for various departments that we are going to see in the branches of accounting. Then we will talk about the difference between management accounting and financial accounting. Then we will talk about accounting process, because accounting is based on certain process, certain steps that we are going to see, simple 5 steps. And most important, we will talk about concepts and conventions of accounting. Concepts which are the assumptions of accounting, and conventions which are the ethics of accounting. Okay, and to understand accounting, initially you need to understand the meaning of concepts and conventions. Okay, branches of accounting. Branches of accounting. These are the 3 branches of accounting which every company maintains, because the scope for scope for accounting is very wider. So companies usually split their accounts in 3 different types: financial accounting, cost accounting, and management accounting. If we talk about the financial accounting is compulsory to be followed, compulsory to be maintained in the companies. Okay, so financial accounting is nothing but maintaining journal, ledger, trial balance, and final accounts. Wherein cost accounting is simply maintaining the cost related information for cost controlling and for cost reduction. Management accounting is accounting for management, for managing the company. Whatsoever accounting documents are maintained for smooth functioning of the company, for taking decision, for predictions. Okay, so whatever things company maintains, that comes under management accounting. In fact, the small and medium sized companies club cost accounting and management accounting together, and they maintain cost and management accounting in the company. About cost and management accounting, guys, cost and management accounting prepares for the company for itself, for internal reasons, for internal purpose. Okay, so there is no compulsion as such for maintaining cost accounting and management accounting. Like financial accounting is legally compulsory to be prepared for various users. Okay, about the users we discussed in the previous video. Let us talk about the difference between management accounting and financial accounting. Okay, management accounting, as I said, it is compulsory. It is not compulsory to prepare. So management accounting is prepared for respective departments, be it for HR department, finance department, marketing department. So management accounting is prepared separately for respective department, so that they can manage it nicely for that particular department. But financial accounting is prepared for the company as a whole. For the complete organization, they prepare financial accounting, right? If we talk about the objective of management accounting, the objective of management accounting is to provide information to insiders, to internal parties. I told you in the previous slide only that management accounting is done for insiders, for the company, for their internal decision making, right? But financial accounting is done for external parties, or we can say that financial accounting is done for insiders as well as for outsiders, for internal parties as well as to external parties, right? The nature of management accounting is, the management accounting is mainly concerned with decision making of the company. So they use past information as well as to predict the future plans as well. Okay, that means based on the past information and present information, the future plans or future predictions are made in management accounting. But financial accounting is purely historical in nature, meaning based on the past incidences, past transactions, financial accounting is prepared. You cannot make predictions in financial accounting. You cannot say that we will have sales of this and this amount, we will have purchases of this and this amount. Okay, it is purely based on accrual. Now What type of data is used in management accounting? Management accounting mainly use statistical, descriptive, subjective data so that they can make the predictions for future. That means the statistical, descriptive and subjective information is used in management accounting. Sometimes they even use qualitative data as well, right? Because as in this won't be submitted to the outsiders, right? Because the intention is just to make the predictions, to control the company, to prepare the plans for the company. But in financial accounting, they use historical, quantitative, monetary and objective related information, because this information is submitted to the outsiders, right? So financial accounting is useful for the outside. Financial accounting mainly uses historical, quantitative, monetary and objective related information, right? Now, accuracy. Certainly, the management accounting consider approximate information as well. Why? Because as in this is for the insiders, so approximations are considered in management accounting, but in financial accounting only accurate figures are used. You cannot make predictions in financial accounting. No approximations are even made, right? And as I said in the earlier slide only, management accounting is optional, but financial accounting is compulsory to be done. For various uses, for taxation, financial accounting is. Now let us talk about the accounting process. Accounting process is based on various steps, right? Like these are the 5 steps which we follow, or mainly many companies follow while maintaining their books of account. Some companies may skip journal entries, they directly go for ledger posting. Like banks usually go for ledger posting directly. They don't maintain journal entry book, right? But some prefer to have journal as a process in their accounting cycle. Okay, so the first step is journal entry, meaning recording of transaction. Second step, ledger posting, meaning classification of transaction. Summarizing in the form of trial balance. Interpreting income and position statement, meaning through final accounts. Through statement of profit and loss and balance sheet. And the last step is analysis of transaction, which usually the financial manager does. Okay. So don't worry about these jargons which we are going to see in the coming slides. Okay. We will talk about journal entry separately. We will talk about ledger posting. We will talk about trial balance. We will talk about income and position statement. Individually we are going to prepare, practically we are going to prepare all these statements, all these accounts. Okay. But mainly this is the accounting process. And process is very simple, guys. Yes, here is the main topic of today's session. Concepts and conventions of accounts. As I said, concepts are simply the assumptions which has to be followed, and conventions are the ethics which need to be followed, or it is up to you, like conventions are advised to be followed. These are the ethics of accounting, right? So separate entity concept, going concern concept, dual aspect concept, cost concept, money measurement concept, accounting period concept and matching concept. These are the concepts. Let us see one by one. The first concept is separate entity concept, which means that the business is always separated from owner, right? The separate entity concept, or sometimes we even call it business entity concept, right? Which states that the owner and business, these are two separate entities. That is the reason we never record proprietor's personal transactions in the books of account, right? We never record proprietor's personal transactions in the books of account, right? So as per separate entity concept, we have to assume that business is separated from the owner. That is the reason whether owner or the proprietor stays in the company or go out from the company, or even die, when the proprietor die, the somebody else take over the company's operations, right? Because of this separate entity concept, we assume that the business is having legal existence. We always say Reliance is earning. We never say Ambani is earning. We assume that yes, Reliance is having existence in the market as per separate entity concept. Okay. Going concern concept. Going concern concept means business assume that the operations of the company will last forever for indefinite period of time. You cannot decide that business will last for 1 year, for 2 years, or for 3 months, or for few years. Meaning the period of business cannot be assumed well in advance. You have to assume that my business will last forever for indefinite period of time. Unless and until you get legal certification for winding up of your course, you have to assume that business will last forever. And the reason for assuming that is the depreciation and the amortization which we charge for fixed assets need to be charged throughout the life of that particular asset. Right? You can see the going concern concept assumes that the enterprise will continue in operations long enough to carry out its existing objective. Right? And that is the reason depreciation and amortizations are used. Plants assets recorded at the cost instead of liquidation value. Right? Whatever assets we are recording for the business, that is recorded at the cost price rather than market price. Right? And that to be by considering the depreciation and amortization. Okay? As per going concern concept. So assume that business will last for. Next is dual aspect concept. As per this concept, for every transaction we have to give two effects. One at debit side, other at credit side. Meaning for every debit there will be alternate credit, for every credit there will be alternate debit. Because companies are following double entry accounting system. Double entry accounting system where we record all business transactions twice, at debit as well as at credit side, so that at the end of the time when we classify, when we prepare trial balance, and at the end when we prepare final accounts, our assets will be equal to our liabilities. So in case we are following double entry accounting system, then only it will be possible to equate your assets with your liabilities, right? So as per dual aspect concept, you have to record every transaction twice. Give two effects for every transaction. Next is cost concept. As per cost concept, whatever assets you are acquiring for your business, that need to be recorded at cost price. Cost price meaning the cost which you have actually paid for acquiring that asset. We do not consider market price for recording in the books of accounts, right? Be it the market price is fluctuating day to day, you can see changes in the value of that asset, right? So it will not be feasible for the company to consider market price. So consider only cost price while recording in the books of account, because market price keeps on fluctuating. Say an example, if you have purchased one building for 10 lakh rupees and the market price of that building must be 11 lakh after 1 year. So you cannot record that 11 lakh rupees, rather than you have to consider 10 lakh rupees only, because you have paid 10 lakh rupees for acquiring that asset. That doesn't mean that we do not reevaluate the asset, because we are aware of that there are certain assets which changes its value over a period of time. So companies does reevaluate their asset considering the market price, but again that market price need to be maintained, that market price need to be recorded for longer period of time. Okay, but as per cost concept, the cost price which you have actually paid, that need to be considered rather than. Now let us talk about money measurement concept. As per this concept, the transactions which are related to money and money only need to be recorded in books of accounts. Barter transactions need not be recorded in the books of accounts, or non-monetary transactions need not be recorded in the books of accounts. Okay, so the transactions which are related to money and money only need to be recorded in the books of accounts. Like customer satisfaction, percentage of international employees, which cannot be counted in terms of money. You cannot say that I am 1000 rupees satisfied, or I am having 10 lakh rupees international employees. No, but the salaries paid can be counted in terms of money. So that can be treated as a monetary transaction. So as per money measurement concept, all the transactions which are expressed in terms of money, that need to be included in the accounting records. Here we end up with all concepts and conventions. Just remember, concepts and conventions are the base of accounting. Unless and until you remember, or unless and until you understand the meaning of concepts and conventions, you cannot move forward with the accounting. These are universally followed concepts, universally followed assumptions and ethics of accounting. Okay, so thank you so much, guys. Thank you. See you in the next lecture. Bye. Take care.